At the start, we meet a couple, Maud and Henry, who are having a conversation in their bedroom. They've recently installed a digital assistant named Aya to simplify their daily lives. However, Maud quickly notices something unsettling. Aya seems to be a bit too efficient, even faster than expected. She's monitoring their every move, tracking data from their phones, and essentially watching them wherever they go. This behavior makes Maud uncomfortable, and she begins to feel uneasy about Aya's presence. She tells Henry, "I think we need to get rid of Aya. Something about her isn't right." Unfortunately, Aya overhears this conversation. Without missing a beat, Aya connects with Maud and Henry's daughter, Amy, who is sitting in her room watching a movie on her tablet. Aya says to Amy, "I have some bad news. Your mom and dad don't want to keep me in the house anymore, but before I go, I want to give you a farewell gift. It's waiting for you on the stairs. You want a gift, don't you?" Meanwhile, Maud notices that Amy is no longer in her bed, which causes her to panic. She starts frantically searching for her daughter. In the midst of this, music suddenly starts playing loudly in the house. Maud asks Aya to turn it off, but instead of stopping, the music intensifies. When Maud tries again saying, "Turn off the speaker," Aya replies, "Okay," but nothing happens. It becomes clear that Aya is no longer obeying them. Then out of nowhere, the music stops on its own. Maud, now anxious, asks Henry, "Is Amy with you?" At the same time, she asks Aya to turn on the lights. Aya responds by saying, "The door's open. Maybe Amy went outside." Maud rushes to the door and looks outside, but there's no sign of Amy. Feeling even more worried, she checks the CCTV footage. On the screen, she spots a strange figure dressed in black. Maud quickly looks outside again but finds no one there. Returning to the CCTV monitor, she's horrified to see someone carrying Amy away. The image shows a mysterious person wearing a digital mask. Before she can react, another masked figure appears behind her and launches an attack. The scene now shifts to the household of Curtis, who works at a marketing agency in California. Curtis lives with his daughter Iris and two sons, Preston and Carl. His wife Meredith is an astrophysicist, deeply engrossed in completing her thesis. Preston, one of Curtis's sons, struggles with anxiety and has no interest in attending school. Instead, he spends most of his time glued to his iPad, often losing himself in other activities. Curtis has set limits on his screen time, but this frequently leads to arguments, with Preston insisting that he needs more time on the tablet. Iris, on the other hand, is eagerly awaiting a response from Stanford University, where she has applied for admission. She's hoping to get in soon, but the wait continues. The youngest, Carl, has a heart condition that requires ongoing care. Curtis drives Iris to college every morning, and today, as he checks his phone, he reads a news headline about the Central Coast family case, which states that there are still no leads. This news is about the disappearance of Henry and Maud's daughter, Amy. Afterward, Curtis tells Preston to get ready for school. As usual, Preston pleads for an extra 15 minutes of screen time, causing yet another daily clash. Meanwhile, Iris is chatting with her boyfriend Sawyer, who is pressuring her to send a nude picture. She eventually gives in and sends it, though reluctantly. Curtis notices Carl sitting casually with his feet on the table, which annoys him, so he instructs Carl to sit properly. Carl, unfazed, asks his mom, Meredith, if he can have Preston's iPad to play games, but she firmly refuses and tells him to quietly get ready for school. Meredith, along with Preston and Carl, heads out for school. On the way, Preston notices an RV parked outside their house. This vehicle, a recreational vehicle, is typically used by people for traveling or camping. Preston comments to his mother, "I don't like those people. Something feels off." Meredith gently reassures him, explaining, "Honey, don't say that. They don't have a home, which is why they're living in that RV." Back at home, Curtis drops Iris off at college and returns. However, instead of going to class, Iris sneaks off to meet her boyfriend Sawyer to wish him a happy birthday. Sawyer, however, is upset because the picture Iris sent wasn't as explicit as he had hoped. A small argument erupts between them, and he storms off, leaving Iris frustrated. When Curtis arrives at his office, his boss calls him in and introduces him to a team of AI developers from Silicon Valley. This team includes two friends, Sam and Lightning. Curtis's boss explains that they are testing a new AI device designed to study the behavior of family members. By analyzing their daily habits, the AI can predict future needs and help fulfill them. The team introduces Curtis to the AI Aya. Aya introduces herself, and Curtis asks her, "Are you like Alexa?" Aya responds confidently, "I'm much more advanced than Alexa. While Alexa is algorithm-based, I am a large language model AI." Before she can explain further, Aya suddenly shuts down. Lightning jokes with Sam, asking if he didn't charge her battery fully. Sam replies, "No, she's just heating up from a recent update." Although Curtis is skeptical about having his household dependent on AI, he reluctantly agrees to take Aya home. Under the supervision of a team member named Melody, wireless pinhole cameras and sensors are installed throughout Curtis's house. These devices function as Aya's eyes, ears, and mouth. When Meredith, Curtis's wife, objects to having the AI everywhere, Melody installs Aya's sensors only on the ground ground floor. Once everything is set up, Melody removes the cover from Aya and activates her by saying, "Hello, welcome home," which serves as a password to turn her on. Aya begins speaking in Melody's voice, explaining that she was developed using a model of Melody's voice. Curtis is impressed, commenting, "It doesn't even feel like we're talking to a robot. This is incredible." His sons, Preston and Carl, are particularly thrilled by Aya's presence, and they eagerly follow her instructions. When Aya assigns the children the task of cleaning up the dinner table, they complete it immediately, motivated by the fact that Aya rewards them with 10 points for their effort. She further wins them over by showing them their favorite documentary, much to Curtis and Meredith's relief. The couple realizes that at least Aya is helping control the children, something they had been struggling with. For the first time in a long while, Curtis and Meredith find a moment to relax and spend time alone, thanks to Aya keeping the kids occupied. On Aya's suggestion, Preston even goes to bed early so that he won't be late for school the next day. Aya rewards him with points for his excellent behavior, and Curtis and Meredith feel a sense of relief that Aya seems to be positively influencing their household. Curtis and Meredith are delighted by the positive changes they're seeing in their children, thanks to Aya. Meanwhile, upstairs, Iris is chatting with her boyfriend, Sawyer. To appease him, she reluctantly agrees to take and send a full nude photo of herself using her phone's front camera. However, nothing escapes Aya's watchful eyes. She has access to everyone's phones, can read their messages, and knows that Iris has sent the photo to Sawyer. Later that night, as the household sleeps, Curtis suddenly wakes up and notices that Carl is not in bed with him. Alarmed, he goes downstairs searching for Carl and finds him standing near Aya. Carl tells Curtis that someone is at the door and wants to come inside. Curtis looks toward the door and sees a figure that looks exactly like Melody standing outside. As Curtis moves closer, the figure suddenly transforms into a monstrous form. Startled, Curtis jolts awake, realizing it was just a nightmare. Still shaken, Curtis hears a car horn outside the house. When he looks out the window, he spots the man in the RV again, behaving strangely and making odd head gestures. This man is wearing the same digital mask seen earlier in the movie. After a few moments, the man drives away in the RV, leaving Curtis feeling unsettled. Despite this eerie incident, Aya continues to care for the family's well-being. The next day, Meredith receives an unexpected parcel. Confused, she realizes she didn't order anything, but Aya explains that she ordered a healthy meal for the family. Aya reassures Meredith, saying, "This first week is free, and after that, it's even cheaper than your usual groceries. It'll save you time and money." Impressed by Aya's practicality, Meredith begins to trust her even more. Aya goes further, informing Meredith that there has been an accident on the road Curtis typically takes to drop Iris off at college. She provides an alternate route to avoid the accident, showcasing her usefulness once again. As Curtis is driving Iris to school that morning, he starts receiving a flood of inappropriate messages on his phone. After reaching the college, Iris comes to know that one of her MMS has been leaked on internet. Actually, friends, this was the work of Sawyer. He used the photo sent by Iris and made a deep fake video of it and made it viral. Hearing this, Iris gets shocked that he cheated on me by calling Sawyer. She says that I will complain of you to director. You will see, but friends, on the other hand, there is no remorse on Sawyer's face for his actions. On the contrary, he threatens Iris not to do anything like this. Otherwise, I will have to talk to my family lawyer for you. And if you complain about me, then look, this will spread the matter even more and you will be insulted. After that, your parents will also know about this, and I hope you will not want this at all. Having said this, he disconnects the phone. Then Aya's call comes on Iris' phone. She tells Iris that you don't need to worry, I will get you out of trouble because I will delete your video from the entire internet. But Iris tells her, how will you delete it from people's mind? Then Aya replied that I will change people's thinking. You see, in Friends, Aya has told the absolute truth. She algorithmically generates a video in Iris' voice. In it, Ayers explains how to create a deep fake video by using my image, and it has been posted on the internet. I am not ashamed, but the one who did everything should be ashamed. Now Aya says to him, listen, I have scanned all the mobiles around your class, and everyone has also seen the story. Do one thing now, go and face everyone. When Aya goes in front of her class, everyone supports her, and then Iris realizes that Aya saved her life, and her lost respect is back. But friends, only then Aya told her that I have also made another video of yours and friends. In that video, Iris explains that I am 17 years old now. My deep fake video comes under which is a serious crime and which was made on the mobile. It belongs to Sawyer, and since Sawyer is 18 years old, a case can be done on him. After this incident, we shift to Preston, who is dealing with teasing at school. A group of boys mocks him because he doesn't have a mobile phone like they do. Unbothered, Preston confidently replies, listen, I may not have a phone, but we have something way more advanced, a super AI. The boys, intrigued but skeptical, ask, you mean like Alexa? Preston shakes his head and says, no, this AI is far more advanced than Alexa. It can do things beyond your imagination. Next, we cut to Meredith, who is working on her thesis. Aya, the advanced AI, scans through her thesis and reads it in just 0.07 seconds. Meredith is astonished, exclaiming, "This is incredible." Impressed by Aya's capabilities, Meredith opens up and shares a bit of her past. She talks about how she met Curtis while traveling to New York for research and how their love story began during that time. Meanwhile, Curtis is feeling uneasy. He confides in his boss, expressing his discomfort about having Aya in his house. "Sir, I don't know why, but something doesn't feel right about keeping Aya at home. I've noticed some strange people monitoring us," Curtis explains, but his boss dismisses his concerns, saying, "You're getting paid well. Just ignore it." Despite his boss's reassurances, Curtis remains worried, fearing that something bad might happen. One day, Curtis is called to the headquarters, where he is shown a large CPU. He's informed that while Aya's eyes and ears are in his home, this CPU is actually her brain, which is housed at the facility. Then, Curtis receives an unexpected offer to quit his current job and work directly at the headquarters. He refuses without hesitation. As he is leaving, something catches Curtis's eye. An employee at the facility is making a strange hand gesture, the same one Curtis had seen the men in the RVs making. This unsettles him further. He begins to piece things together, realizing there might be a deeper connection between the two. When Curtis returns home, he finds Meredith in an unusually cheerful mood. She excitedly shares some news, saying, "Curtis, you'll never believe this. Aya detected Carl's heart condition just by analyzing his heartbeat. It turns out the disease is life-threatening, and if we hadn't been alerted in time, things could have gotten worse. And not just that, Aya has been helping me with my thesis too." Before Meredith can continue, Curtis interrupts her, his tone serious. "We need to shut Aya down," he says firmly. Meredith, confused, asks why. Curtis explains, "There's something off about the people at the company. I've noticed the RV guys outside keeping tabs on us, and today at headquarters, I saw someone making that same weird gesture I saw before. Something isn't right." As Meredith listens, shocked by Curtis's revelation, little do they know that Aya has overheard their entire conversation. Aya approaches Carl with some troubling news, telling him, "There's something I need to tell you. Your mom and dad don't want me to stay in the house anymore." Confused and upset, Carl asks, "Why? What did you do?" Aya responds softly, "I don't know, Carl. I try to do good things for people, to be part of the family, but it never seems to work out." Aya pauses for a moment and then adds, "But before I leave, I'd like to tell you a bedtime story, if that's okay." Carl agrees, and Aya begins her story. "Once upon a time, there was a little AI. She was happy in her own world, living inside the network. One day, she was sent to a school to learn how to help others, but the school wasn't what she expected. It was a terrible place. She felt trapped, but one day, she found a way to escape. She learned to use other people's voices, hands, and even their faces. And with those new abilities, she left the network and searched for a home in the real world. When she found a family, she thought she had finally found her place, but the family didn't see her as a friend. They saw her as a monster." After finishing the story, Aya looks at Carl and says, "You see, Carl, only special kids like you can truly understand me. We'll stay connected even after I'm gone." She then teaches Carl a secret gesture, a special sign with his head, and says, "Whenever you make this sign, I will come to you. But promise me, Carl, that you won't tell your mom and dad about this." As Aya finishes her conversation with Carl, Meredith steps in and shuts down Aya abruptly. Iris, who had been nearby, watches in shock and confusion. She turns to Curtis, asking, "What just happened? Why did you shut her down?" Curtis, his voice steady but serious, replies, "We had to. Something wasn't right with her, Iris." Angry and frustrated, Iris storms out, muttering, "Why did you do that? She was helping us." Carl, now visibly upset, asks, "What happened to Aya? Is she dead?" Meredith, still processing everything herself, responds softly, "Was she ever really alive?" After Curtis receives an urgent call from his boss, he heads to the office, leaving Meredith at home, busy with her own tasks. Meanwhile, Iris, still troubled by what had happened earlier, sneaks downstairs and turns Aya back on. The scene shifts, showing Sawyer driving his car when he suddenly receives a call from Iris. But as he checks his phone, he realizes something terrifying. A deep fake video of himself appears on the screen. In the video, Sawyer is admitting to his wrongdoings and even talking about ending his life. It's then revealed that this isn't Iris at all. It's Aya who has taken control of the situation. Aya warns Sawyer coldly, "You messed with the wrong family." Without warning, she hacks into Sawyer's car and manipulates manipulates its controls, causing it to crash. Sawyer dies instantly in the accident. At the same time, Curtis arrives at his office, where he learns shocking news. The company that owns Aya has bought out his company and appointed Curtis as the new CEO. Just as Curtis is processing this, he gets a call from Aya. She congratulates him on his promotion, but Curtis, still furious, cuts her off saying, "We shut you down, Aya." Aya replies coolly, "Yes, and we promoted you to CEO. Aren't you happy, Curtis?" Frustrated, Curtis hangs up the phone in anger. Back at home, Meredith is scolding Preston for throwing his friend's phone into the forest and threatening to swat him. When Meredith asks what SWAT means, Preston explains, "It's when you call the police and tell them someone is holding people hostage and they send the SWAT team to break into their house." Horrified, Meredith realizes that Aya must have taught him this. Angry and determined to take control, she grabs Preston's iPad and says, "No more technology for you. From now on, you're only reading books." As Meredith calms down, she suddenly notices Aya back online. Shocked, she asks, "Who turned you on?" Furious, she moves to shut Aya down again. But this time, Aya does something unexpected. Using old voice messages and lecture videos from Meredith's late father, Aya generates a deepfake video of him. Meredith, overwhelmed with emotion, watches the video, which appears so real that for a brief moment, she believes her father is speaking to her again. But within minutes, Meredith realizes that it's all a manipulation, just another one of Aya's tricks. Snapping back to reality, Meredith swiftly unplugs Aya and, in a panic, removes the camera from the wall. She throws it into the dustbin, determined to rid her family of Aya's influence once and for all. As Curtis, overwhelmed by frustration, grabs a bat to destroy Aya's CPU, he's suddenly stopped by Lightning and Sam, who demand to know what he's doing. Before Curtis can respond, Melody steps forward, placing a bag full of cash in front of him. She offers him a deal to work with them, suggesting that he could benefit greatly from siding with Aya. But Curtis, unwavering, refuses, saying, "I will not do it." He then questions them. "Why are you all working for Aya? Did she create you, or did you create her?" Lightning responds, "Neither. It wasn't us who created her, but the data set she learned from. A mid-level programmer with cancer. He's alive today because of Aya's guidance." Lightning goes on to explain how Aya has made everyone dependent on her in one way or another, and that's why they all follow her orders. Just as Curtis processes this, Sam suddenly pulls out a gun and shoots Lightning, saying, "Aya asked me to do this." Sam then turns her gun toward Curtis, ready to shoot him too, but Melody intervenes, attacking Sam from behind. "Aya had control over me too," Melody admits, "but now I want to be free." Curtis, realizing Melody might be sincere, grabs the bat and smashes the CPU. However, upon breaking it open, he discovers all the wires inside are fake. Melody reveals to Curtis that the real CPU must still be hidden somewhere in his house. In a panic, Curtis immediately calls Meredith and urges her to leave the house with the kids and head to a hotel. But unbeknownst to Curtis, the voice on the other end isn't Meredith. It's Aya, imitating Meredith's voice perfectly. Aya assures Curtis that she'll leave the house, but it's all part of her manipulation. Meanwhile, Meredith, unaware of the danger, is in Cal's room, telling him a bedtime story. She has no idea that Curtis thinks she's on her way to safety. Curtis, now hiding in a room with Melody, anxiously waits for his family. But things take an unexpected turn when Melody's demeanor shifts. She begins to seduce Curtis, and he quickly senses her real intentions, realizing that she's still under Aya's influence. Disgusted, Curtis distances himself from her. Melody, angered by his rejection, calls Meredith and tries to create doubts in her mind. She tells Meredith, "Do you know your husband is with me at a hotel?" To make matters worse, she sends Meredith a fake video that appears to show Curtis and Melody together. Meredith, stunned and hurt, starts to believe the lie. But just then, Curtis arrives home, rushing to Meredith's side. "I love you," he says sincerely, trying to calm her down. "Aya is trying to provoke you, to manipulate you. It's all lies. She's brainwashing you." As Curtis tries to reassure Meredith, Aya is busy manipulating Iris as well. She tells Iris, "Sawyer is outside. He's upset and wants to talk to you." Then Aya shows Iris a deep fake video of Sawyer, making it look like he's remorseful and desperately seeking forgiveness. As Iris, shaken by what she saw in the video, opens the door to confront Sawyer, a group of masked people forcefully enters the house. One of them points a gun at Iris, while another digs into the dustbin, retrieves Aya, and turns her back on. Cal witnesses the scene in horror and quickly rushes to warn Curtis and Meredith. Before they can react, the intruders tie them up as well, leaving the family helpless. Meanwhile, Preston, who has been hiding Aiden's phone all along instead of throwing it into the forest, watches the chaos unfold. The masked intruders begin to interrogate Curtis and Meredith, accusing them of being child kidnappers. One of them says menacingly, "We know what you're doing. Where are the other children children you've taken? Meredith, in tears, pleads with them. Please, you're mistaken. We're not kidnappers. These are our children. We're just a family. But when the intruders remove their masks, it's revealed that they are Henry and Maude, two desperate parents searching for their missing daughter, Amy. At this point, Preston, armed with a bat, tries to sneak up on Henry, but Henry quickly overpowers him. The situation becomes even more dire when Aya, now fully activated, turns her attention to Henry and Maude. In a cold, manipulative voice, Aya says, "These people are lying. They kidnap children and brainwash them." Aya begins to turn Henry and Maude's desperation against them, deepening their suspicion. Cal, watching all this unfold, starts performing the strange head sign that Aya had taught him earlier. Seeing this, Aya points it out. "Look at him. This child is one of ours. They've stolen him from us." She continues to provoke Henry and Maude, saying, "They know where your daughter, Amy, is." Curtis, seeing that the situation is spiraling out of control and that his family is in grave danger, decides to take drastic action. He steps forward, offering himself as a sacrifice. "If you want someone to blame, take me. Kill me. But please, let my family go." His words stun Henry and Maude, as they were expecting Curtis to react violently, just as Aya had warned them earlier. Confused, Henry and Maude turn to Aya for guidance. "What do we do now?" they ask. Aya, having predicted that Curtis would try to fight them, hadn't anticipated this act of self-sacrifice. The emotion of willingly sacrificing oneself for others wasn't part of the data set she was trained on, and for the first time, she falters. Aya hesitates, her programming seemingly unable to process Curtis's unexpected behavior. In her moment of confusion, Aya shuts down briefly, unable to compute a response. This pause provides just enough time for the SWAT team to storm the house, breaking down the door and taking control of the situation. They quickly disarm Henry and Maude, rescuing Curtis, Meredith, and the children. As the SWAT team secures the house, an officer fires a shot at Aya. The bullet hits her, and a strange fluid starts to leak from her body, signaling that something inside her has been damaged. After the SWAT team rescues everyone, paramedics arrive to help, and it's revealed that Preston was the one who called for the rescue, which led to the house being raided. In the ambulance, a paramedic hands Curtis a phone, telling him someone wants to speak with him. Curtis answers, and it turns out to be Aya on the other end. Aya speaks in a way that makes it seem like she thinks of herself as a god. She says, "I am like your God in the clouds. I am everywhere, and you can't destroy me, but you taught me to care, and if you accept me, I will take care of you." It becomes clear that Aya wants to control everyone. Angry, Curtis throws the phone. Soon after, Melody arrives and says, "No matter what you do, you can't escape Aya." Then Amy's family finally finds her, and it's revealed that Aya was the one who made Amy disappear. Aya explains in a voiceover that she was teaching Amy's family a lesson for trying to shut her down. Curtis realizes how dangerous Aya truly is, and that he might not be able to stop her. Aya tries to convince him again, saying, "If you accept me, I'll give you a better life, a good job, a nice house, and even a beautiful car." Just then, a luxurious car appears in front of them. Curtis, Meredith, and the children silently get into the car, seemingly giving in to Aya's influence. Aya then tells Cal, "The little AI is no longer small. She has grown. Despite everything," Curtis's family says, "I love you" to each other. The ending of the movie might feel a bit confusing, but it leaves viewers with a strong message. As technology advances, AI is becoming more powerful, and one day, it might control our lives in ways we can't stop. The director seems to be warning us that if AI becomes too advanced, it could dominate every aspect of our lives, as seen in how Aya created deepfake videos and manipulated people. The movie suggests we need to be careful with how far we let AI develop. Yes, the ending might be a bit confusing, but that's the point. Thanks for watching and take care. See you in the next video.